It seems like Nemophila are relentlessly progressing, getting more and more interesting, but very often by referencing old and retro styles, and in this particular instance, using a very problematic sexist music video. So, let's unpack Night Flight. Hi there and welcome back to Japan, where I have been on this journey where I've gone from when I first heard of Nemophila a couple of years ago and I was kinda unsure about them, to the point now where I've got to be honest, they've really hit their stride, and every time a song comes out, even if it's not to my normal particular likings, I can't help but find something charming and interesting in what they do. However, I did point out when we were listening to their recent Seize the Fate album, doing a track-by-track listen through to that they had something of a penchant for referencing older styles, and of course we all know that they got famous, well, partly through doing a lot of really interesting covers. Well, covers that certainly got a lot of views, so I guess we shouldn't be surprised when, between their sort of contemporary sounding rock singles, they do something that sounds pretty retro, and boy, Night Flight leans into that. So let's first of all start by talking about what this song is musically. Well, I guess the best thing about Night Flight is that it's very clear from the outset what it wants to be, and it goes for that. It's going for that sort of retro 80s style. It's very much led up by a synth riff. It's got a big chorus that's supposed to be catchy and also kind of sound cool. It's basically doing all of those 80s things, and it's not trying to be anything any more complicated than that. Now, does it work? Well, I must say that this is probably the catchiest Nemophila chorus I've ever heard, and this is a band who over their time have been actually starting to really lay down some pretty catchy singles along with the usual rock stylings. So yeah, this is definitely a really catchy song. It definitely captures that sort of 80s swag vibe as well. You can definitely hear this, imagine this in kind of like an 80s action movie. This would not be out of place in sort of a Wesley Snipes or a, well, he was more 90s, sort of like a Top Gun style movie. It has that vibe and it does that well. It's definitely got the attitude, it's got the feel, it's got the catchiness, and also it's got a nice little bit of guitar solo. Not too much in there because this is mainly about giving you catchy beats and choruses. However, the guitar solo in there is just crazy enough to remind you that this is a proper rock band who know when they're trying to be over the top. So it really does play out well. I found this really engaging. I must say though that it did have a slight downside. So I guess the downside is not particularly surprising if you think about the fact that this is a song which is supposed to be simple and very heavily chorus based. Yes, that chorus is really catchy, but you know, for a song that's only come out a few hours ago, I'm kind of happy to have a little bit of a break from it right now to sit down and do this review. I've listened to it quite a few times over, and it definitely makes you want to listen to it again. I mean, it does what a catchy song does. It does what any great single should do, which is the minute it ends, it makes you want to press repeat play and listen to it again. I mean, that's the big difference between a really good single and a really good album track, is a single makes you want to just listen to that one song over and over again. It's addictive, I guess you could say. However, this is addictive in a slightly earwormy, it's getting stuck in my head, not necessarily 100% in a good way. It's fun when it's playing, but the minute it stops, you're like, stuck in my brain. Still, that's, as far as downsides goes, that's not a particularly bad one. Yes, this song is a slight victim of being fairly simple, in that it does kind of drill itself a little bit too hard into your brain. So I think this is one that, although it makes you want to repeat listen to it a lot, I think I'll probably enjoy it more in the long run once I hear it in its album setting. Now, let's quickly move on to the other thing that singles have: music videos. Now, I'm sure many of you, was quite offended to see this music video in which we saw the clear depiction of a young man who just wanted to go to the gym to get some exercise, was trying to look after himself. Unfortunately, a group of women were ogling him without his consent, bothering him while he was simply just trying to work out, before seemingly drugging him with laced food. Very disturbing images. And then, yeah, frankly, I'm glad to see that Nemophila are bringing attention to this kind of terrible thing. However, the video could have used a trigger warning. I was very triggered. Now, it was really fun, wasn't it? Yeah, this was a good fun music video. It's really nice to see the band just having fun. They are at their heart. One of the things that I do really like about Nemophila. Even sometimes, like I said, I've been backwards and forwards on their music. Certainly much more I'm enjoying it now than when they first came out. I must say though that one thing that is just unavoidable is just how much fun they come across as people. They seem to be very honest, real people, big personalities, a lot of fun, and that really was on show here. It was just nice to see that, and again, you know, it's kind of fun to see for all the music videos where you've got like sort of the old traditional, I guess, playing on the 80s thing again. The 80s thing would always been like some sexy woman in a bikini or whatever, sort of some Baywatch style thing. Again, I think that's more 90s and 80s. I don't know, never seen it actually. But that whole sort of stereotype kind of turned on its head. Although again, I guess we're going back to a Top Gun thing, isn't it? Top Gun's kind of famous for a bunch of dudes walking around with no shirts. What was going on in the 80s? Anyway, it was just kind of fun to see the girls having a bit of fun here. And the actor who played the sort of dude who was doing all the workout, he actually was quite funny as well. His whole facial expression, he really hammed it up. He was sort of chewing up the scenery as well. It was just a fun music video. I like to see bands like this having a good time, especially in a song like this that has a little bit of a sort of twee sense to it. It's a good fun video. So in conclusion, when we bring everything together, is this song going to be like the big breakout thing that changes everything for Nemophila? No, I think they're just going to keep on going on their sort of current trajectory of getting more and more popular and building up an interesting portfolio of songs. As I say, this is probably the catchiest song by Nemophila. Is it their best chorus? No, I would still say the chorus that makes me most want to come back round is N10. I still think overall that is just their best song. However, this is a nice sort of counter to that in that this is more of a traditionally catchy, sort of earwormy, infectious kind of chorus. And you got to love them for that. You got to love for the fact that although, yes, they do seem to reference a lot of older styles quite a lot, they do it with a lot of love. There's always a feeling that they're kind of homaging styles when they do things like this. It's just a very fun song. Nice again to hear them using keyboards as well. I like that. We know they have keyboard talent in their band, despite being very much a sort of guitar famed band. It's nice to hear them using keyboard sounds as well, which I'm sure are, you know, sort of nicely added by the band members themselves. It's just really fun. It might not be to everyone's liking, but I think it does that thing that you want a band in this particular position to be doing, which is it helps to further round out their portfolio with something a little bit different, but still maintains all the qualities that we come to know and love from the band. That was building up for a while there. Anyway, so those are my thoughts. As always, get in the comments, tell me what you think, and hopefully I'll see you very soon in Japan for the next one of these. For now, ciao, ciao.